Today's episode of the Terrific Talk podcast is brought to you by The Athletic. The Athletic is a subscription-based publisher of smarter sports coverage for die-hard fans. The model is simple. No ads, no pop-ups, and no autoplay videos. Instead, readers get in-depth coverage written by journalists who know their teams and leagues inside and out. Today, Terrific Talk listeners can get 40% off by using promo code TerrificTalk, making the subscription $2.99 a month. Again, subscribe today using promo code TerrificTalk to be a part of the future of sports journalism. Now, let's get to my conversation with the host of the NFL Redzone, Scott Hanson.
Welcome to Terrific Talk. I'm Tom Anderson. I can't tell you how excited I am for today's podcast. The one and only Scott Hanson of the NFL Redzone and NFL Network is here. Let me bring him in. Scott, welcome to Terrific Talk.
Tom, good to be with you, and thanks for the introduction. I appreciate spending all those Sundays together.
It's the best. So we're going to get into your amazing career here and learn about your job, but before we get there, there's one question all my listeners wanted me to ask you.
Can I ask it in advance?
I know you know it's coming.
Go ahead.
Every Sunday during the NFL season, you get in that studio and you host 7 straight hours of live TV with no commercials and no bathroom breaks. Scott, how do you do it?
Yeah, that's the number one question, pardon the double entendre there, that I get is, when or how do I go? And people ask me, how do you go to the bathroom? I say, well, it's not how, it's when. And the true answer is I have taken one bathroom break in the last 5+ seasons.
Amazing.
One. And the way I do it is I dehydrate myself. I start watching what I eat and what I drink on Saturday nights. Sunday morning, we have a chef at NFL Network who makes me the same salty, dense protein breakfast so I can retain water. I cut off all my liquids about 3-4 hours before the show. I use the men's room about twice in the last hour before the show. And then it's the willpower of a ninja the rest of the way for 7 hours.
Incredible. You've been doing this for 10 years now. I keep seeing all these super beta prostate ads. Was this easier in year 1 or year 10?
Do you want to know something funny? Is the way you posed that question. So I was interviewing, this is like a few years ago, I was interviewing Roger Goodell on NFL Network. It was for something unrelated to Redzone, but Roger has told me many times that he watches when he's not at a game. He's watching the entire NFL like the rest of everyone else. And he goes, Scott, he's like, when do you go to the bathroom? He asks me the same thing every fan asks me when they bump into me in the airport or something. And I look back at him. I said, well, Roger, the truth is I don't. I go 7 hours straight without going to the bathroom. And he looked back at me and he goes, Scott, when you get my age, you're not going to be able to do that. And I kind of laughed and I said, well, Commissioner, we can only hope medical science catches up with the male physiology by then.
Yeah.
And we both had a laugh over that. And yeah, it's been good. I actually had a surgeon come up to me, no joke, at the Super Bowl, a guy who introduced himself as a surgeon. I don't know what type of surgeon he was, but he's like, look, I love Red Zone. I just want to tell you, I know that you don't go to the bathroom. Do you know that your bladder is a muscle like anything else in your body? And if you train it, it will, rise to the occasion like your biceps do or whatever.
There you go.
And I said, well, mine is definitely trained because, the first stop after the show is usually down the hallway.
Something I've picked up on over the years, I'm sure a lot of your viewers have as well, is the passion and energy that you bring to every single broadcast. I mean, you really bring it every week. Your energy's off the charts. How do you get up for every Sunday like that?
Well, thank you for saying that, and that's a good question because people always say they can tell when I'm more excited about one touchdown or another, and they think it's because they know who my favorite NFL team is. But the truth is, I do not have a favorite NFL team. And I know that sounds crazy because everybody that watches knows how much I love pro football. There's not a person at NFL Network who loves the game more than I do. But what I do is I focus on whatever touchdown I'm showing, whatever play, whatever jaw-dropping moment I'm showing is someone's entire weekend in my hands and our hands on the staff, right?
Yeah.
The Cincinnati Bengals score a touchdown. Someone is going to live and die by the Bengals touchdown. The Dallas Cowboys do something. Someone is living and dying by that. And so what I say is I'm going to give them my best, no matter what game it is, no matter what team it is. Now, if a game is 35-0 and the other team scores to break the shutout, I'm not going to probably sound as enthusiastic as that. But with NFL Redzone, you're getting every fantastic finish. And I will not differentiate between a game between two teams that are 500 and two teams that are maybe division contenders, especially in the middle of the season where we don't know how it's going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
I often tell when I speak to a class or something like that, I'll say, gang, you cannot control how much raw talent you have as a broadcaster, but you can control how much energy and passion you put into your job. And I hope that our fans on NFL Red Zone realize that's what I'm doing for their sake each and every Sunday.
Fantasy football I want to talk about. Obviously, huge factor in getting people to watch the Red Zone channel, but are you noticing a growing number of people tuning in now because they like the pace of it, the highlights? Like, we kind of live in a world now where we want everything instantaneously and immediately. Have you seen people's viewing habits change at all in the last couple of years?
Absolutely. In fact, if you go back into the archives, we just did our 10th season on NFL Red Zone. If you go back to the very first season and the very first episode and the very first minute of the show, when I initially came on camera, the first thing I said, and I realized that if we did this well, we could have a hit on our hands. And that first on camera is the only part that's scripted. It's 7 hours ad-libbed, but the first on camera, I actually type out something and I use a teleprompter for the first, 30 seconds. And what I decided to say on that first episode 10 years ago was, welcome to NFL Red Zone, the channel that we hope and we think will change the way you watch football forever. And it may have seemed like hyperbole or whatever else, but as a football fan myself, I realized what we were going to attempt to do. And as a fan, I said, if someone could do this, I would watch it. I'd watch this channel. And that would be my regular Sunday viewing. And there's not a day that goes by where people don't say, Scott, you guys on NFL Red Zone have absolutely changed the way I watch football. And these are people that don't necessarily, have a fantasy football team that they're worried about. These are people that just love the action. They love the juice that we provide them by going bang, 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 commercial-free, 7 hours, all the best parts, trimming all the fat off of the games. And why would you want to go to something else once you have that awesome 10,000-foot view of the most popular sport in the country?
It's an amazing idea, and you guys have executed so well. What's your number one goal, kind of your mission statement for that show in general?
Oh, good question. I've never had anyone ask like a mission statement, but I would say this. What we say in our production meeting, the whole crew and I get together, and I work with, for my money, the best sports television crew in sports television. Alan Flowers, coordinating producer, Brian Nettles and Ryan Yunt, our line producers, director J.D. Hanson. They do and our entire staff of about 30 some people do a fantastic job. When we meet in the morning, Sunday morning before kickoffs, and we go over all the games and various storylines, we basically say this. Here's our mission statement. Let's have anything that people will be talking about on Monday be seen live or 10 seconds after it happens right here on Sunday. That's the bottom line. Our tagline is every touchdown from every game. And we show every touchdown from every game.
Yep.
But there might be a dropped pass or a controversial call or an amazing fumble recovery or whatever. Those aren't touchdowns, but you will see any moment that is worth talking about in the office, at home, in school or whatever on Monday morning did you see this in this game? Did you see what happened in the such and such game? If you watch NFL Red Zone, your answer will be yes. That is our goal. That's our mission.
It's so true, because I do a podcast with my friend basically every Monday where we kind of recap everything. And I've started watching the Red Zone. I'm watching you now because I see every single play that I'm going to need to be able to talk about the next day.
Well, can I give you if you don't mind, can I give you a list of a few people who have come up to me and told me that's how they consume the NFL?
Definitely.
Peter King just told me at the Super Bowl. Now, so many people get their football information through the great Peter King. Peter says, Scott, I watch you guys because I need to see everything. right before the Super Bowl, right before kickoff of the Super Bowl, I'm on the sidelines. Who taps me on the shoulder and says, "Scott, you do an amazing job. You guys are great on NFL Red Zone." Jim Nantz, who's about to go call the Super Bowl. And I said, "Jim, how are you watching?" He's like, "When I got the 4:00 game Eastern time, I'm watching all the finishes of the 1:00 on right there in the broadcast booth before we kick off." I'm like, "Well, that's a heck of an honor." Also at the Super Bowl for the last 3 years, a guy who's come up to me and said, "That's the best show on TV," Tom Brady.
Wow.
And I'm like, "Tom," and he tells me when they're on the bye, he's watching NFL Red Zone. When the Patriots are playing on Monday Night Football, he's watching NFL Red Zone on Sunday. He loves it. And look, I don't get starstruck or anything like that, but it's pretty awesome when the influencers in our business are consuming the products that myself and our excellent staff at NFL Red Zone are producing. It's a heck of a thrill and a heck of a responsibility.
All right, guys, let's take a quick break. There are a lot of things in life that aren't right. Carpets and showers, eating dip with your fingers, chunky style milk, and paying too much for your phone bill. That's just awful. But thanks to Mint Mobile, you don't have to overpay for wireless anymore. They reimagined the wireless shopping experience and made it easy and online only, which means they can pass significant savings directly to you. And for a limited time, they're offering 2 months free when you buy your first month. That's $20 for 3 months of wireless. This amazing deal is only here for a limited time. Mint Mobile runs on the nation's fastest, most advanced LTE network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan. You can keep your old phone number along with all your existing contacts. We all know how important that is. And if you're not 100% satisfied, Mint Mobile has you covered with their 7-day money-back guarantee. Go take advantage of Mint Mobile's amazing deal before it's gone. Pay just $20 for your first month of wireless and get another 2 months free by going to mintmobile.com/terrific. That's mintmobile.com/terrific to get 3 months premium wireless service for just $20. Mintmobile.com/terrific. All right, let's get back to Scott Hanson.
People see you that, you pop up on their screens at 1:00 Eastern on Sundays on the Red Zone. They see you on the NFL Network, but you had to work your way up. You've done a number of jobs. Can you just take us kind of through your career path?
For sure. Yeah. Well, the nutshell version is I loved football ever since I could run and walk. I mean, my dad and I loved the game. My dad had a passion for it, and I learned that from him. And of course, when I'm 8 years old, I wanted to be an NFL football player. Mm-hmm. Well, when I got to about early mid-high school and saw that God didn't see fit to make me 6'5", 250, running a 4.5 40, I'm like, well, I don't think they're not going to pay me money to do that. My parents encouraged me to do something that I love for a living. And I said, you know what? I can't play football at the highest level, but those guys on TV that are talking about it sure sound like they're having a really good time. I wonder if I could do that. So I looked around. My dad and we researched universities that could get a great sports television education. We came up with Syracuse University, which, I'm an alum, but most people in the industry would say has the premier program in the country for sports broadcasting. So many great broadcasters in the industry are alums of Syracuse University. Mm-hmm. So I went there, started my first TV job was Traverse City, Michigan, market 121. And for those who don't know, there's about 210 markets in the country ranked 1 to 210. I started in market 121. I'm on TV, right? So I'm a face man on TV, doing Mr. Slick, doing sports. A kid straight out of school. My salary was $15,000.
Wow.
1 to 5, not 50, $15,000. And I would have done it for 10 because I was just excited to be doing it. And I worked at local affiliates and was very blessed to work my way up, hone my craft through the years. And about 14 years ago now, the NFL gave me a call and said, Scott, we've seen your work before. We like what you do. Why don't you come on board? I was a reporter for the NFL for a few years at NFL Network. And then when they started NFL Red Zone, I became the original host of the show.
Amazing. It's an amazing path. Yeah. Scott, thank you so much for taking the time to come on today. I really appreciate it.
Tom, thank you so much. And we'll see you in September.
Absolutely. And I've got good news. I've made it through this entire podcast without having to go to the bathroom. You've taught me well.
Well, hey, that's a good starter program for you, Tom. That's a good starter program.
I got to work my muscle. Work the muscle.
300 of these in a row, and then call me back.
All right. Sounds good. Everybody look out for
man.
Scott on the NFL Network. Follow him on Twitter. His handle is @ScottHanson. Scott, thank you again.
You got it.